Marcus stood at the edge of the crowded parking lot, adjusting the strap of his old military jacket. The sun was rising slowly, casting golden light across the school grounds. Today was an important day, the day his son Liam would graduate. Marcus had served many years in the Marines, and he had faced challenges that tested every part of his being. But nothing had made him as proud as watching Liam grow into a responsible and kind young man. The auditorium loomed ahead, a large building filled with students, parents, and teachers. Laughter and chatter floated through the morning air. Balloons decorated the entrance, and a colorful banner read, "Congratulations, graduates." Marcus took a deep breath, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. He had prepared for this moment for weeks. He had wanted everything to be perfect for Liam's special day. Families walked together, holding cameras, flowers, and balloons. Children ran in circles, their energy filling the space. Marcus felt a small smile creep onto his face as he watched the crowd. He remembered the day Liam was born, how tiny his hands had been and how quickly time had passed. Now Liam was almost grown, standing at the edge of adulthood, ready to step into a bigger world. Marcus felt proud, but also a little emotional. He reached the entrance and noticed the security guards stationed at the doors. They wore dark uniforms and moved with careful attention. Marcus straightened his jacket and walked confidently toward them, ready to show his ID and find his seat. He wanted to enjoy this day, to see Liam walk across the stage and receive his diploma. He had imagined this moment countless times during long nights away from home. As Marcus approached, one of the guards stepped in front of him. The man's face was serious, almost cold. "Sir, you cannot enter with that jacket," he said. Marcus blinked, surprised. "I don't understand," he replied, his voice calm but firm. "I'm here for my son's graduation. This is a proud day for him. I am his father, and I want to celebrate with him." The guard shook his head. "Rules are rules. You must remove that jacket or leave." Marcus felt a knot form in his stomach. The jacket was not just clothing. It was a symbol of his service and his sacrifices. He had earned the right to wear it, especially on a day like this. He tried to remain calm, knowing that showing anger would not help. "I am not here to cause trouble," Marcus said. "I just want to be with my son on his big day." The second guard moved closer, blocking his path. "Sir, this is the policy. No exceptions. Please step aside." Parents nearby had started to notice the situation. Some whispered to each other, clearly surprised by the confrontation. Children stopped playing for a moment, curious about the tension that had appeared in the festive scene. Marcus's heart sank, but he refused to back down. He looked around, trying to catch a glimpse of Liam through the doors. The young man was standing near the front, talking to friends, unaware of the drama unfolding outside. Marcus's determination grew. He had taught Liam to stand up for what is right, to face challenges without fear. Now Marcus had to do the same, not just for himself, but to set an example for his son. Taking a deep breath, Marcus spoke again. "I am a father. I have served my country. Today is about my son, not about rules or uniforms. I need to be there for him." His voice carried a mix of calmness and quiet strength. The guards exchanged glances but remained firm, their posture signaling they were not willing to change. Marcus realized that words alone might not be enough this time. At that moment, a small crowd had gathered. Parents and students watched quietly, sensing the tension. Some whispered encouragement to Marcus. Others simply observed, unsure of what would happen next. The air felt heavier, the excitement of the morning replaced with a sense of uncertainty. Marcus's mind raced, thinking of the right way to resolve the situation without causing a scene. He thought about the long journey that had brought him here, the years of training, the deployments, the nights away from home. All of it had been hard, but it had also taught him patience and resilience. Marcus straightened his back, lifted his chin, and stood tall. He would not be intimidated. Not today. Not when his son's happiness was at stake. As Marcus prepared to speak again, he noticed movement in the crowd. A few familiar faces approached quietly, their expressions serious but respectful. These were old friends, men who had served alongside him. They understood the situation instantly and stepped closer, ready to support him. Marcus felt a wave of relief mixed with gratitude. He realized he was not alone. The sun climbed higher, shining down on the gathering crowd. Parents adjusted their cameras, children laughed softly again, and the graduates inside the auditorium prepared for the ceremony. Outside, Marcus faced the guards, knowing that this moment would test not just his courage, but his dignity. He was ready to stand firm, ready to do whatever was necessary to celebrate his son's achievement. And in that moment, Marcus knew one thing clearly. This was more than a graduation. It was a test of honor, respect, and the power of standing together. Marcus felt his heart beat faster as the guard stood firm in front of him. He had expected the ceremony to be filled with joy, laughter, and pride, not confrontation. The small crowd of parents and students around him watched quietly, unsure whether to intervene. Some whispered among themselves, expressing disbelief that a father could be stopped from attending his own son's graduation. Marcus took a deep breath, trying to keep his composure. He reminded himself that anger would not solve anything. "Sir, you must leave the jacket outside," the first guard repeated, his voice firm but controlled. "It is school policy." Marcus shook his head, disbelief clear on his face. "I have served my country, and this jacket represents my service. I am here for my son. I have the right to be here with him today." His voice carried calm determination, but he could feel tension rising in the air. The second guard moved closer, placing his hands on his belt as if to signal authority. "Policies are for everyone, sir. If you cannot follow them, you will have to leave." Marcus could see other parents shifting uneasily. Some tried to smile, offering encouragement, but the situation made it difficult to feel lighthearted. Children nearby stopped their playful games, sensing that something serious was happening. Marcus realized that the guards were not going to back down easily. He stepped forward slightly, keeping his hands open in a peaceful gesture. "I am not here to make trouble. I am just a father trying to celebrate a milestone in my son's life. Surely you can understand that. This is a proud moment for our family." His tone was steady, but he could feel the knot of frustration tightening in his chest. The guards glanced at each other, a silent conversation passing between them. "Rules are rules," the first guard said again, his expression unchanging. "We cannot make exceptions for anyone, no matter the reason. Please leave." Marcus realized that reasoning alone might not work this time. He needed another way to ensure he could attend the ceremony. He looked around, noticing the quiet tension in the crowd. Parents and students watched, some clearly sympathetic, others unsure of how to react. Just then, Marcus noticed a few familiar faces approaching. They were old friends from his time in the military, men he had served with on long missions, who had faced dangers together and had always had each other's backs. They had heard about the situation and came quickly to support him. Marcus felt a mix of relief and gratitude. Seeing them reminded him that he was not alone. He straightened his jacket and met their eyes, silently thanking them for being there. The guards noticed the new arrivals and took a step back, their posture tense. Marcus's friends did not need to speak to make an impression. Their calm confidence and quiet authority were enough to make the guards pause. Marcus knew these men were not there to create conflict, but their presence alone carried a strong message. He felt a sense of hope rise within him. He turned to face the guards again, this time with added confidence. "I am a father, and this is my son's day. I have served my country, and I am asking for respect and understanding. I do not wish to argue, but I will not leave when this is about celebrating my child's achievement." His words were steady, but the weight of the moment pressed down on him. The crowd around them began to murmur quietly. Some parents stepped closer, their expressions showing concern and empathy. A few students peeked through the doors, curious about why a father was being challenged on such an important day. Marcus felt a small wave of courage. He realized that the moment was bigger than just him. It was about honor, fairness, and standing for what is right. One of Marcus's friends, a tall man named Daniel, spoke quietly but firmly. "Let him pass. This is a family celebration. No one should stop a father from attending his son's graduation." His voice was calm, yet carried unmistakable authority. The guards paused, clearly weighing the situation. Marcus could feel the room holding its breath. Every parent, student, and passerby seemed aware that something important was unfolding. Marcus looked at his son through the glass doors. Liam was laughing with friends, unaware of the drama just outside. Seeing him brought a fresh surge of determination. Marcus would not let anyone take this moment away from Liam. He was determined to stay calm, but he also knew he could not back down. The pride of a father and the honor of a former Marine were both at stake. The guards exchanged glances again. Marcus could sense their hesitation, and the tension in the air was almost tangible. Marcus stood tall, shoulders squared, meeting their eyes with quiet resolve. He was ready to defend his right to be with his son, but he was determined to do it with dignity. He had faced dangers in faraway lands, and he could face this challenge here with courage and patience. The crowd grew slightly larger as whispers spread about the confrontation. Some parents nodded in understanding, showing quiet support for Marcus. Others simply watched, curious and concerned. Marcus realized that this moment, while difficult, could also be an example for everyone watching. It was about respect, courage, and standing firm when it mattered most. Marcus took another deep breath, preparing to speak again. He would not raise his voice or act out of anger. Instead, he would show the strength of character that Liam had learned from him over the years. Today was a celebration of achievement, honor, and family, and he would do everything he could to make sure it remained that way. The tension outside the school auditorium grew thicker with each passing second. Marcus stood tall, his eyes fixed on the entrance where his son Liam was waiting inside. The security guards remained firm, blocking his path, their expressions unyielding. The small crowd around them murmured nervously, unsure of what might happen next. Parents whispered among themselves, some clearly sympathetic, others uncertain how to react. Marcus knew that patience and calm would be his greatest tools, but he also understood that words alone might not be enough. "I am a father," Marcus said, his voice calm but carrying a quiet firmness. "I have served my country. Today is my son's graduation. I am asking only to be allowed to celebrate this moment with him. There is no reason for me to be stopped." He took a deep breath, trying to steady the rising tension in his chest. His old Marine training reminded him to stay composed under pressure. The first guard tightened his stance. "Sir, you must leave. This is school policy. We cannot allow exceptions, no matter the reason." His voice was polite but unshakable. The second guard nodded in agreement, arms crossed and eyes fixed on Marcus. For a moment it seemed as though the two sides would remain locked in a silent standoff. Around them the crowd began to grow slightly, parents and students sensing the seriousness of the confrontation. Some stepped closer to see what was happening. Children paused in their playful games, watching curiously. A few whispered to each other about why a father could be stopped from attending his own son's graduation. Marcus noticed their eyes on him and felt the weight of the moment even more strongly. He had to remain calm, but he also had to ensure he would be there for Liam. Marcus shifted slightly, making sure to stand with open posture, showing he meant no harm. "I do not wish to argue. I am not here to cause trouble. I am only here to celebrate my son's achievement. Surely you can understand that." He kept his voice steady, though inside he felt a storm of frustration and emotion. The guards exchanged a glance, clearly frustrated by his persistence. Just then, a voice called out from the side of the crowd. "Marcus, we are here with you." It was Daniel, one of his old Marine friends, followed by 5 more men who had served alongside him. Their presence was calm but commanding. Marcus felt a surge of relief and gratitude. These were men he had trusted with his life, men who understood what it meant to stand firm for what is right. The crowd noticed the new arrivals. Whispers spread quickly as parents and students recognized the serious tone of the situation. Marcus's friends did not approach aggressively. They walked slowly, their calm confidence making it clear that they were here for support and protection, not conflict. The guards took a small step back, visibly reassessing the situation. Daniel stepped forward slightly, his voice calm but firm. "Let him pass. Today is a family celebration. No father should be stopped from attending his child's graduation." The words hung in the air, clear and strong. Marcus felt a sense of hope rising. The authority in Daniel's voice, combined with the presence of the others, made it clear that this confrontation was no longer just about rules. The guards hesitated, looking around at the growing crowd and the 6 men standing firmly behind Marcus. Marcus could feel the eyes of parents and students on him, their attention filled with curiosity, concern, and quiet admiration. He realized that the moment had become bigger than himself. It was about fairness, respect, and standing firm when it truly mattered. A young mother in the crowd spoke softly to another parent. "It is his right to be here. He is a father and this is his son's day." Others nodded quietly in agreement. Marcus noticed the quiet support and drew strength from it. He knew that losing his composure now would not help, but remaining firm and respectful could change the outcome. Marcus looked again toward the auditorium. Through the glass doors, he saw Liam laughing with his friends, completely unaware of the tense scene outside. Seeing his son's carefree face gave him renewed determination. He would not let anyone take this moment away from Liam. Every bit of patience, courage, and dignity he had learned from years of service came rushing back. He turned to the guards once more. This is not about uniforms or jackets. It is about a father and his son. It is about respect and fairness. I ask you one more time to allow me to attend my son's graduation. His voice was calm, but it carried a weight of conviction that was difficult to ignore. The guards shifted slightly, their confidence faltering under the presence of Marcus's friends and the growing attention from the crowd. For the first time, Marcus noticed uncertainty in their eyes. They realized that their insistence on enforcing the rule was being challenged not with anger, but with dignity, authority, and support. Marcus's friends moved slightly closer, not to intimidate but to silently demonstrate solidarity. Their calm presence strengthened Marcus's resolve. He knew that together they represented not just friendship, but honor, loyalty, and a quiet power that could not be ignored. The crowd continued to murmur softly, the tension spreading throughout the parking lot. Parents adjusted their cameras, children whispered to each other, and students watched with wide eyes. The small standoff had captured everyone's attention. Marcus took a deep breath, preparing himself for whatever came next, knowing that this moment would define not only his day, but the example he set for his son. The morning sun shone brightly over the school grounds, but a tension-filled shadow hung around the entrance where Marcus faced the security guards. He had stood his ground for several minutes, speaking calmly yet firmly, but the guards had remained immovable. The small crowd of parents and students watched in quiet fascination, sensing that something extraordinary was unfolding. Marcus felt a mixture of frustration and determination. Today was his son Liam's graduation, and he would not be denied this important moment. From the side of the parking lot, a group of 6 men approached. They walked with quiet confidence, moving in perfect unison, each step measured and deliberate. Their presence immediately changed the atmosphere. Parents and students instinctively stepped back, sensing the authority these men carried. Marcus recognized them instantly. These were his closest friends and former SEAL teammates, men who had served alongside him during some of the most challenging missions of their careers. He felt a rush of relief and gratitude. The guards noticed the newcomers and tensed. They could sense that these were not ordinary men. There was a quiet power in their stance, a calm authority that spoke of experience, discipline, and respect. Marcus's friends did not speak yet. They simply stood behind him, forming a solid line that radiated confidence. Marcus adjusted his jacket, feeling strengthened by their presence. Daniel, the tallest of the group, stepped forward slightly, his eyes focused on the guards. He did not raise his voice, nor did he make any threatening gestures. His calm confidence alone seemed to command attention. Marcus could feel the energy in the air shift. The guards exchanged uneasy glances, realizing that the situation had escalated beyond a simple disagreement over policy. Marcus turned to the guards, his voice steady. I am a father. Today is my son's graduation. I am asking one more time for respect and understanding. I do not seek conflict. I only wish to attend this ceremony with my child. His words carried a quiet authority, strengthened by the presence of the 6 men behind him. One of the parents in the crowd whispered, "Those men know him. They have served together. That is why they are here." Others nodded, murmuring softly in agreement. The children watched curiously, sensing the seriousness of the moment. Marcus felt a surge of courage. This was more than a personal struggle. It was a lesson for everyone present about honor, dignity, and standing firm for what is right. The guards shifted their weight, their confidence faltering as they realized that Marcus was no ordinary father, and that his friends were no ordinary men. Marcus felt a renewed sense of determination. He had faced challenges on battlefields far from home, but this challenge was just as important in its own way. Today, he needed to protect his son's moment of pride. Daniel spoke again, his tone calm yet unmistakably firm. Let him pass. This is a family celebration. No father should be denied the right to attend his child's graduation. His words were measured, carrying the weight of experience and authority. The crowd fell silent, listening closely. Even the guards seemed to hesitate, sensing that further resistance might lead to embarrassment or conflict they could not win. Marcus looked through the glass doors at Liam, who was laughing and chatting with his friends, oblivious to the tense situation outside. Seeing his son's happy face gave Marcus even more resolve. He would not allow anyone to take this moment away from Liam. Every lesson of patience, courage, and integrity he had learned during his military service now guided him. The crowd began to shift slightly, some moving closer to show support. Parents whispered encouragement to Marcus. Students looked on with admiration, sensing that they were witnessing a stand built on honor and dignity rather than aggression. Marcus understood the importance of remaining calm. Anger would weaken his position, but courage and composure would strengthen it. The guards finally spoke, their voices lower now, tinged with uncertainty. "Sir, we were only following rules. We did not intend to cause trouble." Marcus nodded slightly, acknowledging their words. "I understand rules are important," he replied. "But today respect for family and fairness is more important than enforcing policy in a way that hurts someone else." The 6 SEALs behind Marcus remained silent, their presence enough to ensure that no further argument would escalate unnecessarily. Their calm authority created an invisible boundary, one that commanded respect without aggression. Marcus could feel the tension easing slightly, replaced by a sense of justice in the air. Finally, after a long pause, the first guard stepped aside. The second guard followed suit. Marcus felt a wave of relief wash over him. He gave a small nod of thanks to his friends. Without a word, the 6 SEALs moved slightly back, their silent support still clearly felt by everyone present. Marcus adjusted his jacket and walked toward the entrance with steady steps. The crowd watched as he passed through, a mixture of admiration and respect in their eyes. Marcus could hear whispers of approval, parents quietly acknowledging the strength and dignity he had displayed. Children followed his movement with curious eyes, witnessing a lesson in courage and fairness that they would not forget. Inside, Marcus finally saw Liam more clearly. His son's face lit up when he saw him, a smile so bright it erased all previous tension. Marcus felt a surge of pride and emotion. He had stood firm, not out of anger, but out of love, honor, and respect. This was the moment he had fought to be part of, and nothing could take it away. Marcus stepped into the auditorium, feeling a mixture of relief and anticipation. The air inside was filled with excitement and soft chatter. Families moving toward their seats while graduates waited for the ceremony to begin. The sunlight streaming through the large windows highlighted the colorful decorations and the proud expressions on parents' faces. Marcus walked steadily, his head held high, the support of his friends still giving him a quiet strength. As he moved toward the front row, a hush seemed to fall over part of the audience. People noticed the group of men walking behind him, former SEALs silent and disciplined. Their presence commanded respect without a single word being spoken. Marcus could feel eyes on him, some filled with admiration, others with curiosity. Parents whispered to each other, realizing the story behind this quiet authority. Children sat up straighter, sensing that something unusual was unfolding. Marcus found his seat just in time to see Liam waiting near the stage, chatting with his classmates. The young man's eyes widened when he saw his father enter, and a bright smile spread across his face. Marcus returned the smile, a wave of pride washing over him. He had made it, not through force or anger, but through patience, dignity, and the support of his friends. Today was Liam's day, and Marcus would be there every step of the way. The ceremony began with the principal welcoming students and families. The graduates lined up in their robes, excitement and nervousness visible on their faces. Marcus watched Liam closely, noticing the young man's careful movements, the slight nervousness in his posture, and the pride in his eyes. He felt a deep sense of connection, remembering all the moments that had led to this day, long nights of study, early mornings of practice, and the quiet determination Liam had shown throughout his school years. As the principal called names, one by one, students walked across the stage to receive their diplomas. The audience applauded politely, some clapping louder than others. Marcus's hands were ready, holding steady as he waited for Liam's name. He could feel the energy in the room building, the mixture of joy, pride, and excitement, creating an atmosphere charged with emotion. Finally, the moment came. "Liam Anderson," the principal announced. Marcus's heart jumped as his son stepped forward, moving gracefully across the stage. The applause grew louder, parents and friends showing their support. Marcus stood, clapping proudly, his eyes fixed on Liam. The young man reached the stage, shook hands with the principal, and received his diploma with a confident smile. Marcus felt tears welling up, a combination of pride and relief that he was finally able to share this moment with his son. Behind Marcus, the 6 SEALs remained silent, standing quietly and observing. Their presence continued to command respect. The room seemed to recognize that these men were not ordinary visitors. They were symbols of dedication, honor, and protection. Marcus felt a deep sense of gratitude for their support. Without them, the morning could have ended differently. With them, he could fully focus on celebrating Liam's achievement. Liam turned to face the audience, his eyes finding his father immediately. He waved, a small but heartfelt gesture that made Marcus's chest swell with pride. Marcus waved back, his smile wide and genuine. Around them, the audience noticed the connection. Parents nodding quietly, some whispering about the display of courage and family loyalty they had just witnessed. The ceremony continued, with more students receiving their diplomas, speeches being made, and performances by the school band. Marcus remained focused, his attention occasionally drifting to Liam, who now sat among his classmates. He noticed the confidence in his son's posture, the joy on his face, and the pride he carried in being part of this celebration. Marcus felt an overwhelming sense of fulfillment, knowing that his presence had made a meaningful difference. As the ceremony neared its conclusion, the principal invited families to stand and celebrate their children's success. Marcus rose along with the rest, his heart beating with pride. He could see other parents taking photos, capturing the moments for memories, but he realized that some moments were best experienced fully in the heart. Today, this moment with Liam was one of those times. After the ceremony, Marcus stood near the exit, waiting for Liam to join him. The applause and chatter of the audience continued around them, creating a vibrant background. Marcus could see Liam approaching, his cap slightly tilted, robe flowing, and smile shining brightly. When Liam reached his father, he hugged him tightly, holding on for a few long seconds. "I'm glad you're here, Dad," Liam whispered, his voice full of emotion. Marcus held his son close, feeling the joy and relief of being present at this special moment. Around them, parents and students noticed the quiet dignity of the moment. Some whispered softly to each other, impressed by the display of calm courage, family love, and respect. Marcus felt a quiet satisfaction. He had faced the challenge calmly, with patience and integrity, and he had been rewarded by being there for his son. Today was a victory not of conflict, but of standing for what was right in a dignified and honorable way. After the ceremony, the crowd began to disperse, leaving the auditorium filled with laughter, chatter, and the occasional sound of cameras clicking. Marcus and Liam walked slowly toward the exit, savoring the last moments of the day. The warmth of the afternoon sun filtered through the doors, casting a golden glow on the polished floors. Marcus felt a deep sense of relief and pride, knowing that he had been present for this milestone. This day had been about more than just a ceremony. It had been a test of patience, dignity, and love for his son. Liam kept glancing at his father, a smile playing across his face. "Dad, I can't believe you made it," he said softly. His voice carried emotion, gratitude, and relief all at once. Marcus smiled, placing a firm hand on his son's shoulder. "Of course, Liam, I would never miss this for anything in the world. Today is your day, and I am proud to be here with you." The connection between them was palpable, a bond strengthened by years of support, guidance, and shared experiences. As they stepped outside, Marcus noticed the 6 SEALs who had supported him earlier. They stood a short distance away, watching quietly, their posture relaxed yet attentive. Marcus gave them a small nod of thanks. Each man returned the gesture, a silent acknowledgement of loyalty, friendship, and respect. The presence of these men had ensured that Marcus could stand beside his son today, and he felt immense gratitude. Their silent support had made all the difference. Liam looked around at the gathering families, some still taking photos, others chatting excitedly. He turned back to his father. "I saw everything that happened outside, Dad. I was worried for a moment, but I knew you would handle it." Marcus chuckled softly, remembering the confrontation with the guards. "It was challenging, but I stayed calm. That's what we do. Sometimes courage is quiet and patient, not loud or aggressive." Liam nodded, understanding the lesson clearly. They walked toward the school courtyard, where flowers, balloons, and congratulations signs decorated the area. Other parents noticed Marcus and Liam together, some offering smiles and nods of approval. The young graduates gathered with their families, taking pictures and celebrating. Marcus and Liam joined in, capturing memories with friends and other proud parents. Marcus felt a sense of joy that went beyond pride. He felt gratitude for the opportunity to witness his son's achievement fully. As they paused near a small fountain in the courtyard, Liam looked up at his father. "Dad, I want to thank you for being here. I know you didn't have to fight for this moment, but you did." Marcus placed a hand gently on Liam's shoulder, looking down with affection. "Liam, being your father means I will always stand for you. Today was important to you and it was important to me. That is why I stayed calm, focused, and strong. You taught me patience too, in your own way." Liam smiled, feeling a deeper understanding of the lessons his father had lived through every day. Around them, parents continued to congratulate graduates and children played nearby. Marcus took a moment to look at Liam's friends, observing the excitement and pride in their families. He realized that today had been a lesson not only for him and Liam, but for everyone watching. Courage, respect, and dignity could make a difference in the most ordinary and extraordinary situations alike. Liam reached into his backpack and pulled out his diploma, holding it up proudly. "I did it, Dad," he said, his eyes shining. Marcus smiled widely. "Yes, you did. And you did it with determination, focus, and heart. I am proud of you, son." The bond between them felt stronger than ever, reinforced by the shared experience of the morning's tension and the ceremony that followed. As the afternoon continued, Marcus and Liam began to walk toward the parking lot, ready to head home. The 6 seals quietly followed a short distance behind, making sure nothing unexpected interrupted the moment. Marcus felt a quiet reassurance in their presence. They had not needed to speak loudly or take action. Just standing there, they reminded Marcus of the importance of loyalty, honor, and support. Before leaving, Liam paused and looked at his father. "Dad, I hope one day I can be as brave and calm as you were today. You handled everything without anger, just patience and strength. That's what I want to learn." Marcus knelt slightly to meet his son's eyes. "Liam, bravery is not only about facing danger. Sometimes it is about standing for what is right, protecting those you love, and doing it with respect. You already have that inside you. Today you showed it by staying proud, focused, and kind." They shared a long look filled with understanding, love, and pride. The crowd around them had begun to thin, leaving the courtyard feeling peaceful. Marcus realized that the morning's confrontation was now behind them. What remained was the memory of triumph, family unity, and a lesson in courage that neither of them would ever forget. Finally, Marcus and Liam reached the car. As they drove away from the school, the sun shining warmly above, Marcus reflected on the day. The challenges he had faced had reminded him of the importance of patience, dignity, and standing firm for what mattered most. He looked at Liam in the rearview mirror, seeing the joy and pride reflected in his son's eyes. Marcus knew that today's memory would stay with them forever, a story of honor, love, and courage passed from father to son. The sun hung low in the sky as Marcus and Liam drove home from the graduation ceremony. The streets were quiet, the bustle of the day slowly fading behind them. Inside the car, the air was filled with a peaceful silence, broken only by the occasional soft laugh or sigh. Liam glanced at his father, the diploma clutched carefully in his hands, and smiled. "Dad, today was amazing. I am so glad you were there." Marcus nodded, his eyes on the road, but his mind replaying the events of the day. "I wouldn't have missed it for the world, Liam. Today was about you and I was determined to be part of it. We faced a challenge this morning, but we handled it with patience and respect. That is what matters." Liam listened carefully, realizing that the lessons went far beyond the ceremony. The story of the confrontation with the guards had already begun to circulate quietly among parents and students. Some had witnessed the calm yet firm approach Marcus and his friends had taken. Others had heard whispers about the 6 seals standing silently behind him, lending quiet authority and support. The lesson was clear. Courage, patience, and integrity could speak louder than anger or force. Marcus felt a quiet pride, knowing that today had become an example not only for Liam but for everyone who had watched. Liam's eyes sparkled as he spoke again. "I never realized how much patience could matter, Dad. You stayed calm and strong even when things were difficult. I want to learn to do that too." Marcus smiled, reaching over to ruffle his son's hair gently. "It is a skill you will carry through life, Liam. Patience, courage, and respect will guide you in times of challenge. Remember, strength is not always about fighting or yelling. Sometimes it is quiet, steady, and principled." As they drove through familiar streets, Marcus thought about the 6 seals who had stood with him that morning. Their presence had been a silent reassurance, a demonstration of loyalty, honor, and friendship. They had reminded him that even the smallest acts of support could make a significant difference in critical moments. He hoped Liam would remember not only the graduation, but also the importance of having people you can trust and rely on. They reached their neighborhood, the familiar houses and trees creating a sense of comfort. Liam opened the car door and stepped out, looking back at his father. "Dad, can we talk more about today later? I feel like I learned so much, but I want to understand it even better." Marcus nodded, feeling proud of his son's maturity. "Of course, Liam, we will talk as long as you want. Today is not just about the ceremony. It is about understanding honor, respect, and courage in real life." As they walked to their home, Marcus reflected on the small details that had made the day extraordinary. The way the crowd had watched silently, the quiet admiration from other parents, the calm authority of his friends. All of these elements had turned a potential conflict into a powerful lesson. Marcus realized that life often presents challenges in unexpected ways, and the choices we make during those moments define who we are and the example we set for others. Inside the house, Liam carefully placed his diploma on the table, treating it with reverence. "I am glad you were there, Dad. I know it would not have been the same without you." Marcus smiled, placing a hand on Liam's shoulder. "Being present for you is what matters most. Today was a victory not just for getting the diploma, but for showing that patience, courage, and respect can overcome difficulties." Liam thought for a moment, then nodded. "I understand now. It is not just about winning or being right. It is about standing up for what is right, calmly and respectfully, and having people you trust by your side." Marcus felt a warmth in his heart. This was the real reward of the day, not just the ceremony, but the understanding that had passed from father to son. Later that evening, as the sun disappeared behind the horizon, Marcus and Liam sat together on the porch. The gentle evening breeze carried the quiet sounds of the neighborhood, a peaceful reminder that life goes on after moments of challenge. They talked about the day, the lessons learned, and the importance of integrity and courage. Marcus knew that Liam would carry these lessons throughout his life, and that made him proud beyond words. Marcus thought about the future, about the many challenges Liam would face as he grew older. Today had been a small but significant test, and Liam had experienced it with pride and understanding. Marcus knew that the foundation they had built, trust, love, patience, and courage, would guide Liam through whatever life might bring. Finally, Marcus looked at his son and said, "Remember, Liam, the most important lessons are often learned in everyday moments. Courage, patience, and respect will guide you, just as they guided me today. Life will test you, but always stand firm and you will succeed with honor." Liam nodded solemnly, understanding fully the meaning behind his father's words. As night fell, Marcus felt a deep sense of contentment. The challenges of the morning had been met with courage and dignity. The ceremony had been celebrated with joy and pride, and the bond between father and son had grown stronger. The day had been more than a graduation. It had been a lasting lesson in honor, integrity, and the power of standing for what is right. Marcus looked at Liam, who was now quiet, reflecting on the day's events. He smiled softly to himself. Today had been unforgettable, a story of family, courage, and respect that would stay with them forever. It was a day that reminded them both that true strength comes from the heart, guided by patience, love, and unwavering integrity.